Good afternoon, happy Stampers. How is everybody this Tuesday? So we are still using the actually today we're using the Butterfly Brilliance stamp set. Yesterday we used the Brilliant Wings dies that coordinates with the stamp set. And before we get started, I want to welcome everybody here on Facebook and on YouTube. Whether you're a live viewer or on replay, you guys are all precious to me. And I appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule to join me in these classes. So before we start, I want to remind everybody that today is free shipping. Yes, Stampin' Up! Is doing free shipping with a $75 order today. June 21st, right? Yep, June 21st, 2022. So if you are watching this live or still on Tuesday, the 21st of June, there's still time to place an order through my online store. And I have included a link in the description to bring you to my store to place your order. And it's a great time to save. And in the US here, you need to place a $75 order. Now, if you want some items and you don't want to place a $75 order, I have already had some customers saying, listen, Judy, I don't have $75 to spend right now, but I do want a few things. Can you put this in on an order so I can get free shipping? So if you email me at judy@judystamps.com, and Judy is with an I, so it's Judi, and email me what you want, I will place the order in an order, but the only thing is you do have to pick it up at my home here in Illinois. And so if you're local to me, this is a great opportunity to take advantage of that free shipping and not necessarily have to place that large order. But if you place that $75 order, I have a little gift for you that I will be sending in the mail when I receive notification that you have placed an order. So I'm going to flip you around and let's get started. Be sure to say hello as you come on. I'd love to know who's on here. Now, the Butterfly Brilliance stamp set is a background stamp. It is an all-one stamp, but it has these 2, 4, 6 butterflies on the one stamp. And what I love about that is it coordinates with the Brilliant Wings dies. And if you use this die, it cuts out all the butterflies at one time. And you can find this stamp set on page 116 of the catalog. And then I lost the page here with the dies. So let me get back here. It is on page 169. And it shows that it has the all-in-one die and then the individual dies which we used yesterday. I'm going to move this out of the way, and I am using Orchid Opulence, and I've cut it 4 1/4 by 11, and we're going to be doing some scoring on our Simply scoreboard. Then I have a piece of basic white for the inside that's 4 by 5 1/4, and then I have a piece of basic white that's 2 3/4 by 4 3/4, and a piece of Calypso Coral that's 3 by 5 inches. Okay, and here's a picture of that stamp set. And I just wanted to show you, oops, I have a magnet on my Stamparatus, so it's going to attract it. See how it cuts all the images at one time? Now, I do know some people have cut this big stamp apart because they didn't want to stamp all the images at one time, but you don't need to. And I'm going to show you today a little trick that I use when I want only one butterfly. So what I do is I place it on, and we are actually going to be using this large butterfly, which is larger than my basic white, but that's okay. See, it hangs over the side, but that's okay. We can have partial images, right, on our papers. So I placed it on my Stamparatus. I have a graph paper there. I'm going to take my Memento ink because that's the ink I'm using, and I want to ink up only this butterfly. And I'll probably do it here And then when it comes time to putting it on my paper, I'm probably going to get ink on my paper. I'm not going to lie, but I will attempt to show you some tricks. So I've inked it up, and then I am going to stamp it right here onto that graph paper, so I know where that is. So I'm just going to rub it because I want that image to transfer, and I don't have my tool that I use, but that's okay. We can get a good image anyways. So I don't care that it didn't stamp well. I just want to know about where it is. So I'm going to decide how I want that on my paper. And I do want it going off the paper. And so if I line it up right here, and I didn't even plan that, right like that, part of the wings are going to be off. So I am going to make sure it is straight. Okay, so either my on here, and it doesn't matter if my paper's quite straight, and then I'm putting my magnet on here to hold that paper. Now, once again, I am going to ink up my stamp. I need to kind of move to be able to ink it up really good. So I am just inking up, there we go, that individual. Now, if I wanted, what I could do is I have my trusty Post-its here. I can put some Post-its along here as I ink this up so I don't get these other images inked up. I need one more. Here, I've got one here, and we're just going to put that right across there. So now what I can do, I'll put this up on the edge here, is I can put my ink pad flat on there. I can miss this butterfly very easily right there. So hello to all of those that are watching. Don't forget, I do use StreamYard to stream my videos on Facebook and YouTube at the same time. So if you want to comment on Facebook, you do need to give StreamYard permission to post your comments. Okay, I am going to remove my Post-it notes, and then I am going to stamp my image. And I just noticed that what part of the problem is my magnet is getting in the way. So let me stamp this, and then I am going to slide this magnet, and hopefully it'll slide without moving my paper. There we go. Okay, so I should get a good image now. Just pressing down hard, because remember, you're not just pressing on this image, you've got all these other images around. So you do need to make sure you press good and hard here. And I'm going to use my snips again to hold that paper down. Let's see. Okay, you guys know I like good dark images. So once again, I'm going to place my Post-its onto, okay, no, I'm not, because my paper moved. Okay, I'm doing it again. My paper moved. Tisk, tisk. Get this down here. Let me get my Post-its again. So you guys are going to learn twice on this, right? So we're putting our Post-its so that we don't ink up these other images that are surrounding this butterfly. I think I just need this right here and this one right here. Grab my memento, and let's ink it up again and re-stamp it. Okay, there we go. The paper moved, and I did get some black where I didn't want it. So I'm just going to make sure I ink this really good. Now, this does have some areas that are lighter black and some that are darker. That's just the way the stamp stamps. So let's do this again. I wish I had my, there we go, my dry erase board. That way I make sure I do it nice and flat. And I'm just rubbing in a circular motion, holding it on there so that it absorbs that ink. Because I want a good black image. See, Okay, I want it blacker yet, so I'm going to do it again and not move my paper this time. Okay, let me place this on here. Get this one here. Get this one down here. I'm going to have to move this one just a little bit because I don't want to get those wings on that butterfly. So let's ink this up again. There we go. And you'll see how blacker, or more black, I should say. Blacker is not a word. Okay, and hope and pray my paper didn't move. Let's get that in there. Okay, that should be good. Oh my gosh, I love that so much better. So we have a partial image, and that's okay. Let me grab my Stampin' Chamois, and it's very easy to clean your stamp. Then I fold it over and clean it. And remember, we learned in my basics class last Wednesday that I then take some stamp conditioner spray or Stampin' Mist and mist that. Okay, so we have that. I'm going to let that dry a second. So while that's drying, I am going to take my cardstock. Now I have already scored it at 2 3/4. Now what I want to do is I want to score it at 1/4 inch. Well, that one's a little bit bigger. That's okay. I think I decided to do it a little bit differently. So I am just adding some interest to my flap. Okay, and they don't have to be even. I'm going to take this, turn it around because of the camera. It's easier to work in this direction. And just do every 1/4 inch. So I am forming stripes. There we go. I was trying to do it too quickly. I will fix that. I will show you how I'm going to fix it. I am just going to take my bone folder, and with the point where that little scribble is, right down here, I can barely see it. I'm just going to rub that. That's probably going to be covered anyways. And then I am going to fold on my 2 3/4. So I've scored it 2 3/4 from this end and 2 3/4 from this end, which leaves me a 4 1/4 by 5 inch card. I want the grooves of what I just did going up. Okay, so I'm going to fold it very carefully here on my score line. You need to be careful with that. And then I'm going to burnish that score line. Okay, and you don't want to get that score line above it. Okay, so that has added some interest to our card front, just a little bit of detail. So I'm going to see how that is on there. So that is just a quick way of adding some interest. Okay, so now we're going to grab our image, and I am using our soft pastels, and the colors that are in this are Coastal Cabana, Daffodil Delight, Gorgeous Grape, Granny Apple Green, Mango Melody. I know that doesn't look like Mango Melody there, but it is. Mossy Meadow, Night of Navy, and Poppy Parade. Now, none of those colors are the colors of our cardstock, right? Because I use Calypso Coral and Orchid Oasis, but that's okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take out my large stamp block, one of my larger stamp blocks, and I'm going to take my Take Your Pick tool, and I want to use the side with the spatula, and I want to choose the colors that I want to use. Now, I feel that the Poppy Parade and Gorgeous Grape are close colors, so we're going to definitely use those two colors. So I'm going to take out my pastel, and I'm just going to rub against, that's a little bit of glue on there, rub against there and get a little bit of powder. Okay, and what this allows me to do is pick up as much color as I want. So we're using the Daffodil Delight. We're going to use the Gorgeous Grape. And so I'm going to put some of that over here. Just rubbing, and I like to rub on all four sides. And then the next time I will be rubbing at the other end. So this actually, what this will do is this will kind of cause a little bit of a point at one end, and then I can use it to color directly on the paper. Just keep going around. You can tell this side I've scraped quite a bit off because it gets off a little bit easier in the beginning. It does have just a slight coating on it, so it may be a little bit hard to scrape. Okay, our next color is Poppy Parade. And I think I'm just going to go with 3 colors today. Let me find the side that I started scraping on. And I'm going to tell you, these soft pastels go a long, long way. I have glue on my finger. I don't know where I got it from because I have not been stamping yet today. There we go. Sometimes getting those corners. And if I need more, I can always scrape more as we go along. Okay. So now what I'm going to take is I am going to take a blender pen. These are not our Stampin' Blends. This is a blender pen, and it's for watercolor. Here, I could have used StazOn. I probably would have been smarter using StazOn, but I'm okay with this. So what I do is I dip the tip, and I start with the lightest color first. So I am just going to put that tip into the yellow and decide where I want my yellows. And I just noticed I didn't get a good image up here. So that is going to be an opportunity for me. So I am just going to color. Now what happens when you use your Stampin' Blend or your blender pen, instead of just the pastel, it helps set the pastel in the paper. You need to rub it in a little bit, but be careful because it will blend out that black, that memento. So we are just going to put that along there. And then I think I'm going to use it right here. So you can color your butterfly however you want. And this stamp set has got gorgeous butterflies in it. And it has different types. I don't know them all by name. Okay, so we're just coloring that on there. Okay, I'm going to clean off my blender pen by rubbing it on my graph paper here. Okay, I'm going to pick the next color, which would be Poppy Parade. So I'm going to pick up some of this. And as you can see, it's liquefying a little bit there. And let's do some Poppy Parade. So we're going to do some Poppy Parade here. And look how bold that is. You couldn't tell quite as much with the yellow, but with your Poppy Parade, you're going to really see that color. So you could do it a little bit lighter. And how I would do that is I would add a little bit of color and then just add more color as I wanted it. Okay, we're going to do this, right up here. Just color that in. And as you can see, you need very little. I've got so much powder here, way more than I needed. I should have gone with a little bit lighter hand. I'm going to do this up here just to give it that illusion. Okay, so we've got that. I want to add, so I'm going to do the orchid there, the orchid there. So I want to add a little bit more of the Poppy Parade in here. So just choose what areas you want to color and what colors you want to color them in. I am thinking that this looks like an eye. Just going to put that right there. Okay, so I'm going to clean that off. Look at how much I still have in there. Clean it off, and now I'm going to go into my gorgeous grape. And let's color that. Now we might want to do that a little bit lighter, so I wipe some off because it is quite a deep color. And this will coordinate with the orchid if we don't do it as dark. So you can pull out the color and wipe it out on here so you don't waste as much. Just going over some of those and just being careful and just doing a little bit right in there. Okay, and let's bring that down here, adding some purples in here. And as you can see, it goes a long, long way. And don't worry if you have some dark spots, like this is really dark. I can always go back, and I'm going to go back and darken some of these up. Okay, it doesn't have to be solid dark. It can have lighter areas. And I missed a spot right there. So just pick up some more. Now, you're going to find that when you use your blender pen, with your pastels, once again, you get a more vivid, bright look to it. I'm going to add some Daffodil Delight down there. So now I need to make sure I get all that purple out. So I'm going to pick up some color, bring it out here, and let's color some yellow in here just to bring it through. Okay, pick up our yellow. The yellow is the lighter color, so you do need just a little bit more. You know what? I'm just going to do some dabs of yellow up here, where there's a little bit of a line there. Some here. So just color it as you want, but as you can see. Now, I'm going to show you another trick with your blender pen. So we have this. I'm going to wipe it off. I am going to take my Memento ink, and I have a little bit around my cap. I can pick some of that up. I'm going to wipe some of it off, and I just want to give the illusion that this is stamped. So I'm doing little strokes here, because if you notice in here, it's not a solid black, and then I'm just going to do little dots. So see how that changed that, and it blends right in now, and I'm bringing it down just a little bit farther. Okay, so a nice vivid butterfly. So, and look at all that chalk I have left. I'm going to save that for another project. I'm just going to put that to the side. So you can use a old CD, anything that's plastic, and keep it if you have a little plastic case. But there we go. We've got that there. So let's find a verse that we want to use. So let me see. I love the Sending Smiles. So let's do, the sending is too big. So we need to make sure we fit here. And you know what? I'm going to add some flowers to this. What the heck? It's my card. So what I'm going to do is on the very bottom, I'm going to stamp a card to say hello. So I need to figure out, I think that is this one right here. Put that on my block. Grab my Memento. Right down here. I'm going to put it up just a little bit. Oh, I don't think that's straight either. Oh, you won't notice that it's not real straight. Oh, I knew it when I put it down there. So now what I want to do is I want to create a border here. So I am going to take this and put it right there. I'm going to take this half flower and let's stamp it with Daffodil. Oh no, I don't want Daffodil Delight there. I want, we will do Calypso Coral. Since we have Calypso Coral, we're going to work in Poppy Parade. So I've got the Calypso Coral. I'm going to want a smaller block because I do not want this block to get full of ink. I'm going to put it towards the edge. Okay, so I put it towards this edge. I'm going to ink it up in the Calypso Coral. And then I'm going to rock and roll it, just the edges, right around like that. give it a little bit of a huff. I'm going to put that here. Yep. Okay. Do it again. I don't have to clean it. Just a little bit. I don't know how much of it we're going to actually see. And I'm going to put this flower right here. And it's going to be cut off, and that's okay. Ooh, I'm going to stamp over that. Don't like that abrupt line. There we go. Okay. Rock and roll. Do another one on this side. Grab my Daffodil Delight. And we're going to put some flower head centers on that. So we need our small block, because remember, when you're stamping, you don't want to use a block that's too much bigger than your stamp. So we're just going to stamp that on there. We're going to put this one in here. And oh my gosh, yeah, I am getting messages on my phone. And I forgot to turn my ringer off, so I'm hoping that nobody calls. So we have that there. Now we want the same look on this side. Okay, but here we go. But I'm using a different flower. I'm going to use this flower this time. So let me clean this one off, the stamp, and put it away. I want a little bit bigger flower. So we're going to take the Calypso Coral, and now I'm going to rock and roll in a complete circle. Very, very small tips. And we're going to have these going up. I want to put a ribbon on here too. So go just very light tips. This way. And let's grab that center again. We'll put those centers. So we've worked all three of the colors. We have not worked the purple, but our base is the Orchid Oasis. So we've got quite a bit of purple on here, but I'm going to work it in. So here, so far, I love kind of doing one piece of paper, but yet separating it. So the next thing we are going to do is put some ribbon on here. And oh my gosh, I have our pastels all over my paper. Can you see it on the back here? And I don't want that on the front. So I'm actually putting my tape on all four sides. And then I'm going to grab my Orchid Oasis ribbon. And I need 2 pieces. So about that long. So I need 2 pieces about this length. I know that this is going to be way too long. I love this ribbon. I love that you can pull it and make it wider. I don't want it wider on this, so I don't want to start pulling at it. So what I am going to do is on each side of my words, and this is going to make my words stand out, I am going to place the ribbon straight across there and straight across where I had my post-it note. Okay, so there, and hold it, and right there. Okay, so now I can put it on my mat. That one piece is going to stay. So I'm going to put it on the mat, and look how that changes the look of that butterfly. Okay, now if you wanted to add more purple or more poppy or more yellow, you could do it now. I kind of wait for what has been previously on there to dry. Okay, so now I'm going to attach this, and this is going to be opening up and down. So I know I want it in the center, and I know that I want it adhered at the bottom of that flap, and I know that I want it here, and I'm just going to do another line of adhesive just slightly below that one, and then we're going to place it on here, and oh my gosh, it lines up line to line. Look at that. Okay, so we've got that. We're going to open this up. Now we're going to go to the inside, and I'm just going to put a couple flowers on the inside. So I am going to put this whole flower right here. Let's get a Daffodil Delight, do a center. So I guess I used 2 stamp sets today. You know, butterflies need flowers. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and adhere that to the center. And just like that. I could add a butterfly to the inside too if I wanted, but I feel that that is enough. So, a special fold card and a card using the Butterfly Brilliance. And we did pull in another stamp set, the Sending Smiles, for down here. But I just love this. This is one of my favorite color combinations, the orange and purples, guys. And look at that. And look how striking that looks. And look how bold that butterfly looks by using the pastels. Now, I did want to show you something. And so I've got a scrap here. So if I'm just going to use this scrap. I'm going to use this, I use the same butterfly. I'm not worried if I stamp the whole image or not, but I did want to show you the difference. I'm just going to put this right on here. It stamps like it stamps. I got black on it, but this is just a scrap. I'm going to throw this away probably, or I could cut it out because it is actually stamped pretty good. Okay, so if we were just to take our pastels and not use our blending pen, okay, I need to close up my Memento ink here. Okay, so you can use a multiple of things to color with them. And one is our sponge daubers. So let me grab a sponge dauber, and I need a clean one. Okay, I have to look a minute for some. Okay, there we go. I need some that I've cleaned and don't have color on. These do have a little bit of color. These are some older ones, so I hope it doesn't deteriorate. So I'm just going to show you with, I use all colors. So I'm going to pick up the Daffodil Delight, and I'm just dabbing my dauber in there, and I'm going to color this wing. So I'm just going to rub that color on. Okay. Now I'm going to pick up some Poppy Parade. I'm going to color up here. Okay, and I'm rubbing pretty hard. You want to burnish that color into the paper. Look at that. Okay. And now the Orchid Oasis. So we're going to color that one down here. And I am going to tell you that if you use this technique, and I will go into this further on my Back to the Basics classes, but see how soft those are? But you will get some outside the lines, and that's the look of pastels. But I just want to show you, look at the difference in that color. See how vivid and bright that one is? And this is just a softer look. So it depends on the look that you want when you're using. And I hope you enjoyed this class today. And don't forget, free shipping today in the US with every $75 purchase. And you can shop at my store. I appreciate earning your business. And come back tomorrow. Tomorrow at 4 o'clock is Back to the Basics, and we're talking about inks. So until we meet again, everybody, happy stamping.